Hey guys, Shad here with MyDailyBourbon. So today I want to do a let's talk about some early times bottled and bond. This is one of my favorite all-time bottles, 1 liter, $22 to $25 ish in my area, some more expensive. But this is one of the things that I didn't try until Bourbon Pursuit mentioned it in a bottled and bond. Can't remember if it was a blind episode or just like a regular episode. And they were just trying different bottles of bond in a row. But of course they talked about it. I think it won their bottled and bond little face off. So I want to give it a shot. But it quickly turned into one of my favorite all-time daily sippers. And then Sazerac bought it from Brown Forman. And of course, what happens then? It disappears. And then it became one of those bottles where, like, you were going in. Do you have any early times bottled and bond? Y'all got any early times? And then what's everyone bring to you? The handle of the terrible whiskey that they have that doesn't even remotely come close to this. So this is one of my favorites. I just said this in another video where if I crack my head on this one more time, I'm gonna scream. I have a bad habit, the bill of my hat, and I don't think about it. But anyway, back to the early times. So I love the label on this. I love how vintage this looks. There's a lot going on, but at the same time, everything makes sense. So I mean, this is a bottled and bond whiskey. So it's bourbon, bottled and bond bourbon. So it's at least 4 years old. They don't give any specifics other than that. But a quick read of the back label. Early Times Bottled and Bond are a tribute to historic bourbon whiskey making, honors the quality standards set forth by the U.S. Bottled and Bond Act of 1897. This act requires whiskey to be a product of one distiller that is distilled at one American distillery during one distillation season. The whiskey must be aged at least 4 years under the government supervision and under government supervision in a secured federal building and bottled at 100 proof. So at least at one point in time, bottled and bond was considered to be like the staple, the best, because I mean it is a federally regulated product. So I mean, in order for you to have anything that's bottled and bond, I mean it has at one point in time, you know, when people were drinking Rock Gut and they'd see bottled and bond, they would know what they were drinking was here. Bottled and bond was way up here. So you knew you were getting quality. And then no one cared about bottled and bond for a while. And somewhere within late 2019 to this year, bottled and bond kind of took off again, and people were kind of chasing anything bottled and bond related. I mean, because you know what you're getting with bottled and bond. You're getting at least 4 years. You are getting you're getting 100 proof, not at least 100 proof. You are getting 100 proof. So, I mean, it's going to be somewhat higher in proof. So, I mean, if you're transitioning into up the range in proof points, bottled and bond's a good way to go because you're getting at least 4 years old. You're getting 100 proof. You can always water it down if you want. And it's coming from one distillery. So this is distilled and bottled by Early Times Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky. DSP 354 and DSP 414. So, you know, I'm sure it's produced at, you know, Woodford or Old Forester, and then bottled vice versa. But let's have a taste. It's also a screw top. And there's a little flavor seal, I guess. This is the only bourbon. We'll have you report. This is the only bourbon where I can go back to it every time and there's like a raspberry note in there, like a raspberry and cream. And I thoroughly enjoy that. There we go. Benefits of using my watch as a secondary monitor. Let's go to the nose. Great nose. Great sweet oak on the nose. Great cinnamon. Brown sugar. The oak on this is crazy. I don't remember it being this strong. It's got a little bit of an orange zest to it. Good bit of leather and tobacco on the nose. It's a really good leather note. Let's give her a taste. I love this stuff. It's very unique in the profile that it has, because you get a little bit of the grain coming through there, a little bit of that corn. But at the same time, you get a nice sweet raspberry and cream, like raspberry shortbread flavoring. I mean, you get a little bit of spice in there, just enough like brown sugar, brown buttery kind of note, but that bright red fruit note that's in there, which I keen to raspberry. You could have keened to strawberries, whatever. You may not even taste it. Who knows? But it is so rich, and then that sweet oak that comes through and just punches you at the end is so nice. I love a good sweet oak note in a bourbon that's not double oak. And then, like the notes, you get a little bit of a leathery note, but it's not super heavy. It's not super tanniny, and especially at 100 proof. I mean, this is it's one of the few bourbons I'd say at 100 proof that actually sits well within the point. It doesn't feel like it's higher. It doesn't feel like it's lower. This feels perfectly at what 100 proof should feel like. Now, if I were to go get like JW Dan or some JTS Brown off my cart, those kind of vary. So I mean, you get a little bit of heat on one, not as much on the other. A little bit more water of a taste, watered down taste. This one, spot on. So good, so good. Very rich chocolate note there, like a chocolate fudge. This is just like, I've not drank this in a while, so it's kind of like I'm falling in love with it all over again. But this is one, if you were to ask me if I could choose one bottled and bond bourbon to have forever, I might kick Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond to the side for this. Now, Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, what was great about that when it was a thing was, I mean, it was what, $11 to $13, 6 years old, age stated, bottled and bond, cheap ass label, looked cool as hell though, and then they redid it, and then now it's not even sold in Kentucky, and then they raised the price, so it went from $11 to $13 to, I mean, I've seen it as high as like $75. Who the hell's paying $75 for that? And people are happy to do that. Hell no. They raised it 1 year and they gave it a fancier label and a different bottle. It's not worth $75. I don't even feel like it's worth the $45 that it should be at retail. But I've never had it, so I can't say anything about that. But what I can say is for this to be 1 liter, so you're getting more than $7.50 at $22 to $25, this is a steal. I'll probably pay up to $30 for this. I don't know if I pay over 30 for it, but I feel like it's worth every bit of at least $30. So much flavor in this. It's not too complex that you sip on it and it just kind of overwhelms you with flavor, but it's also not flat in any way, shape, or form. The flavors it has are very pronounced. They punch you right in the palate and let you know they're there. They are very prominent. Let's give her another sniff. I mean, the oak on the nose, I would love to know what the age is on this or what ages they blend in there, just to see what we're working with, because this is a fantastic nose. I mean, it's once again, it's not overly complex, but I mean, the scents you do get off of it, or the notes, not scents, rather, the notes you do get off of it, very prominent, they're there, and they're not going to let you down. That is stupid good. Stupid good. So while I reminisce on this a little more, let me know. What do you guys think of Early Times Bottled and Bond? Did you enjoy it? Have you had it? What would you pay for it? Where does it sit at in your rankings of Bottled and Bonds products? I mean, there's so many Bottled and Bond products out there these days, and a lot of craft distillers are shooting straight for Bottled and Bond. That way you're getting a guaranteed minimum 4-year product from a new distillery. They want you to know that they're invested in it. So you got places like New Riff who won't release anything less than 4 years, and they went with Bottle and Bond because like I believe that's the highest quality of bourbon you can get. Minimally. I mean, you go with Bottle and Bond, you're getting minimum 4 years, you're getting 100 proof, and it's got to be one distilling season from one distillery. So I mean, you know what you're getting into when you get that. And I think a lot of places will try and just pump out stuff too early, or we'll try and skirt the rules a little bit with Bottle and Bond. And I've seen that with a couple local, not local distilleries, but with a couple of distilleries who kind of got in trouble for claiming Bottle and Bond when their products produced one place and done elsewhere. So let me know your thoughts on early times. Like I said, where does it sit in your rankings of Bottle and Bond? What would you pay for it? And what are your thoughts on it? Cheers.